This is John Schwartz with House Hack Los Angeles. Today we're in Inglewood at a very exciting new listing. This is a single-family home listed for $789,000. Quick interruption. This home was listed for $789,000 when I shot that. But today, right now, its list price is just $690,000. And that's an amazing price because this property is perfect for an inexpensive conversion from a single home to 3 rental units. A 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom owner's unit up top with 2 studio apartments underneath, which means that the person who takes on this project will have a heavily subsidized 3-bed, 2-bath home while they live there, and then 3 cash-flowing rental units in one of LA's best neighborhoods for appreciation, Inglewood, when they decide to move out. And this plan could be executed with a renovation loan, meaning you can borrow the money you need for the purchase and for the renovation with a single down payment. I'm John Schwartz, a realtor, real estate investor, and house hacker in Los Angeles, California. And this is what I do. Find projects that let regular homebuyers hack the LA market and make the best investment of their lives. Learn more at www.househack.la, and while you're there, sign up for my weekly newsletter, which includes my best finds of the week. We're going to pop back to the tour so you can see the property, and then we're coming right back here to do a full analysis of the numbers. So stick around. Most of the house is up a level. Underneath is the garage and 1 bedroom with an en-suite bath. Those are going to become the ADU and the JADU. Right in front we have a welcoming porch where you can sit and enjoy some coffee and look out over the neighborhood. This is East Hyde Park Boulevard, which is a slightly busier street, but not too bad. Bars. Now I love finding homes that have bars that don't need bars anymore. I think if you can buy a home and take off its bars, you've bought at the right time. When we come inside the front door, we see that the upstairs has actually already been renovated. It's a simple, clean renovation. The flooring is vinyl plank. It's not the most high-end, but it's durable and lasts forever. A nice color on the wall, some decent trim. I like that this fireplace has been more or less maintained. I believe it's a gas fireplace with the gas sign still running to it. Above us, we have a popcorn ceiling. Now, given when the house was built, this probably does have asbestos in it. You can either have it scraped by a contractor who's licensed to do it, or just leave it. If it doesn't get disrupted, it's not harmful. Here's the kitchen, and I love seeing kitchens like this. You'll notice there's an interesting center island, and to the right is a spot for a washer-dryer. But what's great about this kitchen is that it can be upgraded very inexpensively. I would just remove this countertop and put on a new one. And if you limit yourself to a new countertop and a new backsplash, well, that's not installing a whole new kitchen. That's just a couple $1,000s of work. Plus, these cabinets are solid wood, which means they can be sanded and painted. Then you add new pulls, new hinges, and you have a whole new kitchen. We pass a coat closet going back to the main hallway. Now, to our right are the steps going downstairs. In the renovation that I imagine, this will be closed off, and the upstairs becomes your new home, which is a pretty sizable home. You have bedroom number 1 here, which connects to a Jack and Jill bathroom. No tub in this bathroom, just a shower. And on the other end of the bathroom is the 2nd bedroom, also smaller, also with bars that are ready to be taken down. Back into the hallway, there's a full bathroom, shower and tub. And then finally, we get to bedroom number 3, the largest bedroom, the master bedroom, the primary bedroom, which also has 2 sizable closets. All right, so we're going to head downstairs. Now, the first thing I want to point out is this door right in front of us. This door exits the side of the house, and this can become a new entrance to the house to reach the 2 downstairs units. First, we're going to take a look into the garage. This can become an ADU. We'll be back there in a second. But let's pop back to this 4th bedroom, which has an en-suite bath. Now, this is perfect for converting into a junior ADU. A junior ADU has to be made of part of the existing home. It can't be more than 500 square feet. And this space is perfect. You add a small kitchenette, you already have a bathroom and a closet, and voila. Now we're headed back into the garage, which can also be converted into a living space, and this would be converted into the property's proper ADU. A single-family home is allowed to have 1 ADU and 1 junior ADU. Now let's head back to House Hack HQ to go over the numbers. And we're going to analyze the numbers on this property using the house hack calculator, the spreadsheet that I made myself, which I think not only has the best calculations for a house hacker and not just someone who's looking to buy an investment property, but is also the only spreadsheet that I've seen that takes into account rent control, which you need to do in Los Angeles. So here's what the house hack calculator looks like, and you can get your own copy for free at www.househack.la/calculator. Now, this is the first page, and what's most important to point out here is that there are a couple links for watching the tutorial video, one here and one here. If you don't get the hang of it watching this video, check out the tutorial videos. The next tab over is the summary tab. This is where we start entering information to run some analysis and get some calculations on our property. The way this works is the blue cells are editable. This is where you change numbers. Everything else is coming back at you. The math is being done by the spreadsheet. So you can enter the property address right here. I'm going to keep the address secret. If this property is still on market and you're interested in this deal, reach out. Is this a rent-controlled market for Los Angeles? We're going to keep this checkbox checked. It is a rent-controlled market, and we're going to have our annual rent increase cap set to 4%, because that's about where it is right now. And now here's where we create the units for the structure we're building. So the first unit is the 3-2, that's upstairs. And then downstairs are 2 studios, which you can also call 0-1s, 0 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, that's a studio. The occupant of the upstairs will be the owner. The occupant downstairs will be the renter. And if you start typing in these words, they'll autocomplete. Now, because the units are coming vacant, we'll have current rents and market rents be the same number. And these are numbers I pulled off of rentometer.com. I love using rentometer.com. I use their median rent as the starting point for my analysis. Median means 50th percentile. There's a 50% chance you'll be able to charge more rent. There's a 50% chance you won't be able to charge this amount and you need to charge a little less. So this is the best starting point, the median rent. And for a 3-2 apartment in this area, median rent's $34.50. And for a studio in this area, median rent is $1,600. Now we'll scroll down to fill out the rest of this column. Purchase price, $690,000. Oops, there we go, $690,000. We'll do a 20% down payment. We'll say our interest rate's going to be 6.75. Coming down cash to close. Closing costs we'll estimate at 2% because that is typically what we estimate, even though in Los Angeles it's a little less. And then for renovation budget, now this is the big question. So how much is it going to cost to convert the downstairs into 2 studio apartments? Well, the going rate to convert a garage into a studio apartment is about $150,000. But when you're doing more construction than just the studio conversion, you get excellent economies of scale. Plus, the downstairs of this house offers 2 very relatively inexpensive ADU conversions. The back room, which we'll make into a JADU, already has a front entrance door, already has a window, already has a bathroom. Really, all it needs is a kitchenette. And the garage, because it's under living space, we know that the foundation is very strong. So again, all it needs is walls, flooring, a bathroom, and a kitchenette. So even though a single garage conversion might cost $150,000, I think to do both ADU conversions on this building, it's going to cost $225,000. So let's punch that in. And by the way, this includes doing a little bit of work upstairs, obviously closing off the stairwell, but also doing a little kitchen update. So that leaves our total cash to close at $401,800. That's a hefty price tag, but let's see what the payoff is. Coming up to our next column, and I'll move myself over. Now I moved over. Coming up to our next column, we have a pro forma. Now the pro forma income is $3,200. That's the income from the 2 units that will be rented, not the unit we live in as the owner house hacker. For expenses, the mortgage payment's automatically calculated. Property tax we're going to leave at 1.27%. That is the property tax rate in the city of Los Angeles. Homeowners insurance, let's bump this up to $250 a month. Insurance has gotten more expensive. Mortgage insurance premium will be 0 because we're putting 20% down. Property management fee will be 0 because we're going to manage this property ourselves. Utilities will be $60 per unit because they're studios, so their utility bills will be rather low. Maintenance and CapEx reserves. Now, in markets outside of Los Angeles, you hear of maintenance and CapEx reserves being 15 to 25% of the rent that's collected on the property. However, in Los Angeles, because rent is so high, this number as a percentage of rent is going to be much lower. And because these are brand new units that we're literally building from scratch, I'm going to lower this all the way to 5%. Now, that might seem ridiculously low for someone outside of California. But when you have a studio apartment collecting $20,000 of rent per year, are you really going to have to spend a quarter of that maintaining the studio apartment? No. We'll keep other expenses at 0 just to keep things simple. And for vacancy, we're going to drop this to 4%, which is the long-term vacancy rate in Los Angeles. Now, before we get into more advanced calculations, we have down here at the bottom right-hand side the House Hackers analysis. This is a custom analysis that I came up with. This is the first level of analysis that I apply to house hacks. First, we look at the net monthly cost, which is the same number we have up here. This is the cash flow. And remember, numbers in parentheses are negative numbers. Negative numbers are outflows of cash. Positive numbers are inflows of cash or equity. So in this case, the net monthly cost is $1,769. Now, let's just start by saying you're going to be living in a nicely sized 1,000 square foot plus 3-bed, 2-bath apartment for $1,769 per month. That's already a huge win. But there's more. Each month you enjoy some principal paydown because you're a homeowner. And you start month 1 with $475 of principal paydown. So then your rent equivalent becomes $1,293. Now, what is rent equivalent? And I put it in quotes. Rent equivalent is the money that leaves your pocket that you'll never see again, like rent. So of the $1,769 that you're paying per month to live in this property, $475 is coming back as principal paydown. And by the way, principal paydown is not appreciation. You're actually paying down your loan. So whatever you sell your property for in the future, you're going to owe that much less on the loan, which means you'll get to pocket that much more. And so really your rent equivalent is $1,293. Now, find me a 3-bed, 2-bath apartment in Los Angeles anywhere that you can rent for less than $1,300 a month. Next, we'll calculate in appreciation. And on the next tab, we'll see where we can dial this in for more precise calculations. But on a property that costs this much, your monthly appreciation is going to be a little bit more than $2,200 per month. So then finally, we get to this bottom line, your net worth gain, $966 per month. That $966 is a positive number, meaning it's money coming in. So what this means is if you buy this property by living there, every month your net worth increases by $966. Pretty cool, right? Okay, let's go to the next tab, the dashboard. I'm going to move myself over again. And let's look at the calculations we have here. So first we have a rent by hack analysis. Now this compares the end product of renting versus buying versus house hacking in just the first year of ownership or renting. In the rent scenario, you take the money you would have put into a down payment and instead you invest it. In the buy scenario, you're just buying a regular house for the same price. And the hack scenario is the scenario that we've just outlined on the summary tab. If you were to rent this apartment at market rent and invest your down payment, for the first year, each month you'd have a net worth loss of $100. If you were to buy a house that costs this much but not generate any income by house hacking, in the first year, each month you'd have a net loss of $1,700. Now that seems terrible, and it is, but the thing about ownership is that as the years wear on, the numbers get better and better for you. A couple years down the road, your net worth is growing every month very nicely. However, with house hacking, your net worth grows immediately. In the first year, you'll experience an average net worth gain of $1,022 per month. Now, because interest rates are so high, in a lot of these analyses, all three of these options create a net worth loss during the first year. However, the house hacking net worth loss is always the smallest. And as I said, what's great about ownership is that as time wears on, as your mortgage payment stays flat, but your appreciation grows and your principal paydown level grows, and if you're a house hacker, as the rental income you have grows, the effect on your net worth begins to compound to the positive. Now I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom of this tab, the buy and hold analysis. This is my favorite part of this spreadsheet. What we're seeing on the left is cash flow growth over time, and what we're seeing on the right is equity growth over time. And above them, up here, is the coolest part of this graph. This graph tells you how many years until you can move out and the property is cash flow positive. This is a very important metric to understand in Los Angeles because often when you buy a house hack property, you're not able to move out right away and have a cash flowing investment. You need to live there for a couple of years for the rental income to catch up so that you can move out and have cash flow. But with this property, you can move out and experience cash flow anytime. So now in the line below, how many years do you plan to live here? You can put in how many years you plan to live here and the cash flow growth graph changes. So in this scenario, we decide we're going to live here for 4 years. So in year 1, we're paying $1,769 per month. In year 2, we're paying $1,673. Sorry, that was year 2. In year 3, we're paying $1,574. In year 4, we're paying $1,470. So as you can see, every year our cost to live here goes down. At the end of year 4, we move out. And what happens? In year 5, this property will cash flow $2,425 per month. Not bad, right? And that number continues to grow. And the difference between the blue line and the red line is the growth of market rents, and the blue line shows us where rents will be with no tenant turnover. So because tenants do turn over, on average, a tenant leaves an apartment every 7 years. Occasionally, you'll get jumps up when you're able to reset the rents to market, and so your actual outcome will be somewhere between the blue line and the red line. So for example, looking way down the road at year 20, if you have no tenants move out, you'll be cash flowing $7,885 per month. Market rent for the building in year 20 is $10,000 per month. So in reality, you'll probably be making somewhere between $7,800 or $7,900 and $10,000 per month at year 20. Again, pretty cool, right? Now, do you remember I said you could also execute this plan with a renovation loan? With a renovation loan, you borrow money to purchase the property and renovate it. And that whole package is one loan with one down payment. And we're going to take a look at what those numbers look like, but let this be a mini lesson in and of itself right now. These spreadsheets are meant to be manipulated. Change the numbers, adjust the numbers, and figure out what scenario is going to work best for you. All right, we're back in the summary tab, and here's what we're going to do to make this a renovation loan. We're going to take the renovation budget out, and we're going to add $250,000 to the purchase price. Let's do the math on my phone. So we're going to change the purchase price to $915,000. That's $690 plus $225. Now, when you do a renovation loan, $690 will go to the seller, and the $225 will go into an escrow account to pay for the renovation. This brings our cash to close down to $201,300. I'm going to move myself over, and we'll see how this affects the rest of our numbers. Now, obviously, you can see our mortgage payment went up to almost $5,000, and the bottom line net cash flow grew to just under $3,200. Now, this is obviously a lot more than the $1,769 we were seeing before. However, note that market rent for this apartment is $3,450. So you're still paying less than market rent to live in this apartment. The house hackers analysis also gets a little bit worse, but it's still pretty good. Again, your net monthly cost is $3,174. Your principal pay down is going to be larger because you're taking a larger loan. So your principal pay down in the first month is $630. So your rent equivalent is $2,544, well below market rent. Your appreciation is also going to be greater. Now, this spreadsheet is clocking greater appreciation. That's not quite the case because the purchase price reflects money you're borrowing from the loan. So maybe your appreciation won't be $3,000 in the first month, and maybe your net worth gain won't be $450 per month. Maybe it'll be $200 per month. The point is, even in this scenario, you're enjoying a net worth gain from day one. Let's pop over to the dashboard tab. I'll move myself over again. So in this scenario, in the rent by hack analysis, again, we have the renter losing net worth, the buyer losing net worth. This again is just the 12 months of year one, and the house hacker gaining net worth. Now, when we come down to our buy and hold analysis, we see years until cash flow positive move out 1. So you'll have to live in this property for 1 year before you can move out and be cash flow positive, but that's pretty remarkable. Let's say we move out in year 2 or after year 2. That means in year 1, it'll cost us $3,174 a month to live here. In year 2, it'll cost us $3,084 to live here. And then when we move out after the second year, in year 3, we'll enjoy cash flow of $427 per month. And that's what's possible when you house hack in Los Angeles. When you take Los Angeles's rules and regulations and high costs and high rents and use them to your advantage instead of being taken advantage by them. For more strategies and techniques that leverage the Los Angeles housing market for your gain, subscribe to the channel.